Hi friends, today we are talking about the six tastes from an Ayurvedic perspective. What are they? Which doshas do they balance? Which doshas do they aggravate? What are their qualities? What are their effects in the body? What emotions are they associated with? Which organs, which tissues? What kind of movement do they have on the body? What are their actions in the body, and what are examples of each? Now, if you watched a couple of the videos that I posted recently about raw food Ayurveda, particularly Ayurvedic critiques of a raw food diet, I mentioned that one of the common critiques is that the raw food diet does not cover all six of the tastes. And I hope this video speaks to that because that is not necessarily true. It depends on how you do your version of a raw food diet, but it does not necessarily mean that a raw food diet, like there's no law that says a raw food diet cannot cover the six tastes. I think sometimes it doesn't, and commonly it probably doesn't, but it can. So let's see how. And I will also be referring to a document on my computer throughout this, and I will do my best to make it available to you as well. It's a pretty expansive, very thorough spreadsheet graph type situation. So, because I do not have all of this memorized and categorized, there's only so much space in the brain, and I like my mind to be quiet and still. So, I will be referring to that throughout. So what are the six tastes? We have astringent, we have bitter, pungent, salty, sour, and sweet. Sweet is our last one. Yay, sweet! Okay, so starting in with astringent. Astringent tastes balance pitta and kapha. Astringent aggravates vata. The elements associated with astringent tastes are air and earth. The temperature, it's a cooling taste. Astringent is cooling. It's the mildest of the cooling tastes. The qualities are dry, cold, heavy. Positive emotions associated with astringent tastes include stable, unified, collected, grounded. Emotions of excess that are brought about by astringent tastes include fear, anxiety, nervousness, depression, fixation, rigidity, resentment, and harshness. The organ associated with astringent tastes is the colon. The tissues are the plasma, blood, muscle, and reproductive tissues. Astringent tastes draw inward. That's the movement in the body. The actions include toning the tissues, reducing sweating, cooling excess heat. It's anti-inflammatory. They stop bleeding. And it's a vasoconstrictor. Examples of astringent tastes include apples, bananas. I'm assuming green bananas here, not sweet, ripe bananas that you would actually want to eat. Cranberries, pomegranates, alfalfa sprouts, avocado, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, green beans, lettuce, peas. Most raw veggies have astringent tastes. Sprouted beans, basil, bay leaf, caraway, dill, fennel, marjoram, nutmeg, oregano, parsley, poppy, rosemary, saffron, turmeric, and vanilla. That, my friends, is astringent. So moving on to bitter. Bitter also balances pitta and kapha. It also aggravates vata. Elements associated with bitter include air and ether. Hence, it would aggravate vata since it's airy and etheric, and vata is airy and etheric. It is also a cooling taste. It is the most cooling, so that would again aggravate vata the most. Qualities include cold, light, and dry. Again, vata aggravating qualities. Bitter tastes bring about clarity, introspection, self-awareness, healthy detachment from worldly things. It also brings about cynicism, rejection, boredom, isolation, separation, loneliness. It's associated with the pancreas, liver, and spleen, the plasma, blood, fat, nervous and reproductive tissues. Movement in the body is downward, descending. It stimulates the nervous system, reduces fat, reduces bone marrow, inhibits sexual energy. It's antipyretic, reducing fever, antiviral, promotes bile flow, laxative, deworming, and diuretic. Examples of bitter tastes on a raw food diet include leafy greens, sesame seeds, cacao, cumin, dill, fenugreek, saffron, and turmeric. And right here you could see that if you were doing a very strict fruitarian, sweet fruit mostly diet, you're not eating any greens, where would you get your bitter taste from? None of the things that I just listed would typically fall within a strict fruitarian, mostly sweet fruit diet. It just wouldn't happen. So on to pungent. Pungent balances kapha. It aggravates pitta and vata. It's associated with fire and air. It is the hottest of the heating tastes. Its qualities are hot, dry, light, sharp, penetrating, and aromatic. It ignites enthusiasm, excitement, curiosity, clarity, vitality, vigor, concentration, expansiveness, as well as irritability, aggressiveness, anger, rage, competitiveness, and envy. It's associated with the stomach and the heart, the blood and the reproductive tissues. Its movement in the body is upward and lightening. Again, you could see how this would balance kapha, which is heavy and grounded. Its actions in the body include blood thinning, antispasmodic, antiparasitic, deworming. It relieves flatulence, sweat-inducing, and vasodilator. Examples on a raw food diet include chilies, garlic, leeks, onions, kohlrabi, mustard greens, radishes, turnips, spinach, buckwheat, mustard seeds, most spices like black pepper, cardamom, cayenne, cloves, ginger, hing, which tastes a lot like garlic and onion, mustard seeds, and paprika, so very warming spices. Next, we have the salty taste, which balances our dear friend vata. Throws out of balance pitta and kapha, who like to retain water more so. Elements associated with salty tastes include water and fire. Salty is the mildest of the heating tastes. Its qualities are heavy, oily, hot. It brings about the positive emotions of courage, confidence, enthusiasm, and interest, as well as temptation, addiction, attachment, greed, possessiveness, and irritability. It's associated with the kidneys, which of course controls our sodium, regulates the sodium in the body, as well as the plasma, blood, fat, muscle, and nervous tissues. The movement in the body is downward for salty taste, which makes sense with associated with the kidneys infiltration, urination. Actions in the body include antispasmodic, appetizer, I want some more, expectorant, makes you cough, anti-flatulent, so anti-gas causing, moistening, as well as laxative. And examples of salty tastes on a raw food diet include celery, seaweed, sea salt, rock salt, gamasio, soy sauce, tamari, coconut aminos, namashoyu would be one, miso would be another, dulse flakes, wakame flakes, any of the sea vegetables, as well as something like barley grass juice powder, which is very salty, or very salty tasting tomatoes would also be a salty taste. Duh. So sour taste, balance, vata, aggravates pitta and kapha. I certainly notice this in myself if I have something really sour and salty, like salted sauerkraut, for instance. The backs of my mouth, I get kind of like sores in my mouth. It feels like raw and cut open almost. Sour tastes are associated with the elements of earth and fire. They are heating. Qualities include liquid, light, oily, and hot. Brings about the emotions of appreciation, understanding, discriminating, and comprehension, as well as criticism, jealousy, rejection, hate, agitation, selfishness, and hyperactivity. It's associated with the lungs, all tissues except the reproductive. Motion in the body is downward moving. Sour tastes move down. Actions include moistens, promotes bulk, holds fluid in the tissues, anti-inflammatory, laxative, and promotes bile flow. Sour tastes on a raw food diet include, of course, our citrus fruits, so grapefruit, lemon, lime, raisins. I would think more golden raisins than the very sweet ones that are purple and black. Tamarind, but again, not the sweet tamarind, but actual sour tamarind. Pickles, tomatoes, vinegar, fermented foods, lemon juice, lime juice, garlic, and savory actually also have some sour taste. And finally, sweet taste, which if you're doing a fruit-based, low-fat, raw vegan diet, no problemo. You are getting plenty of sweet. Sweet balances vata and pitta. It's said to aggravate kapha, which I would say they would if you're eating very high fat too. If you're eating lower fat, kapha can actually stabilize. Sweet is associated with earth and water. Sweet tastes are cooling. Qualities include heavy, cold, oily, soft, relatively difficult to digest, grounding, building, and nourishing. Emotions include love, sharing, compassion, joy, harmony, bliss, and sweet is the most sattvic of all the tastes. On the other hand, it promotes attachment, greed, and possessiveness. Sweet tastes are associated with the thyroid and upper lungs, so kind of high heart and throat, as well as all 7 tissues. Movement in the body is descending and stabilizing. Actions in the body include moistening, laxative. If you've ever done a fruit cleanse, you know that. Diuretic. If you've ever eaten lots of melons, you also know that. anti-inflammatory, emollient, antispasmodic, expectorant, and anti-inflammatory. An example of sweet tastes include all of your sweet fruits, of course, bananas, cantaloupe, melons, dates, figs, mangoes, prunes, as well as veggies are sweet root veggies, grounding veggies like beets and carrots, cucumber, olives, sweet potatoes, corn, sprouted beans like lentils, garbanzo beans, mung beans, navy beans, sweet basil, bay leaf, caraway, cardamom, cinnamon, coriander, fennel, mint, nutmeg, saffron, tarragon, vanilla are sweet spices. So that is it. Again, we've got astringent, bitter, pungent, salty, sour, sweet. Yippee! And all 6 of them can be found on a raw food diet. Depends on how you do your raw food diet, of course, but it is possible to eat only raw foods and cover and enjoy and delight in all 6 tastes so that you are cravings free and very balanced, assuming you're attending to the other parts of a healthy lifestyle, which, friends, it's not just food, although food is one of the most important parts, of course. So I hope you found this video helpful. Like if you like, subscribe for more, and check out the links in the description. I will hopefully have some version of this chart available to you. You can always email me and ask me for it. Taylor@joyfulrawlife.com. That might be the best way to get it, so it's on a more exclusive personal basis. So much love to you. The information's also in my books, so it's scattered throughout in a very practical, applied way in both Raw Food Ayurveda Volume 1 and in Volume 2, my sweet and savory books. Much love to you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and namaste.